All right, so we're back doing this again. This is Run the Julz podcast production, just straight Run the Julz, no chaser. Me and my sister Emily, we're here to talk about probably the two biggest projects in the rap hip hop game world right now. Talking about Kendrick Lamar's sophomore effort to Pimp a Butterfly and the out of nowhere uh, release from Drake. If you're reading this, it's too late. We're gonna kind of talk about what we like, what we don't like. The whole how we received these couple projects. Maybe talk about these artists. As acts and what they are, what they bring to the table, how we think of them, and then maybe even some stuff in between of other cool music stuff that has dropped recently that's rattling around in there. So, first of all, Em, you can say what up so I can not talk.
What's up?
Yeah.
Yes, you're talking a lot. We got a lot to
Yeah.
say here, I guess.
So, we're gonna first dive into Kendrick's "To Pimp a Butterfly." So, um, safe to say, a bit of a departure from normal. Well, I wouldn't say he has a normal sound, but because to be fair, everything he's done is kind of differed little by little. Section 80 and Good Kid, Mad City are probably closer in relation than To Pimp a Butterfly is to either of those works, but To Pimp a Butterfly is definitely very funk influenced, very kind of jazzy disco-esque, um, which is an interesting take. Full disclosure, I believe Kendrick to be the best lyrical talent in hip hop.
No way, really? You think that?
Yeah, yeah, full disclosure. um, Beating that drum for a while, pretty loudly. And I I like this. I like this album. There's a reason why we've waited to do this because when the project dropped, obviously you and I both listened to it right away, and we are like, yeah, we're gonna need to sit on this and marinate with it for a little while before we can have a real opinion.
Mm.
Um, which I think a lot of people thought that for Good Kid, Mad City, but this is even more so.
Yeah.
Um, so I guess I would say that I like it. I like the project. I I think it's in terms of quality of music, it's terrific. It's fantastic. Um, in terms of mainstream rap and what we're normally used to from either Kendrick or other artists, there's no Mad City joint. There's no like swimming pools type of joint. It's all very different, but not different being bad, just different being different, and pretty cool nonetheless. Um, we'll get into it a little bit more, but what do you think? I know you had pretty strong opinions at the beginning, but
Yeah, I mean, I've never been, it took me actually a while. Kendrick, that Good Kid, Mad City dropped in what, November? And I didn't probably get into it until like March. I was like, I don't really know this guy, and I haven't actually to this day I still haven't heard Section 80. I should probably go back and do that.
ooh,
But
okay,
yeah, but I think I probably heard something. I just haven't put it all the way together.
you would
But
love Section 80.
I bet. But so I think it's just it took me a little while to warm up to that one, but those are just really cool. I just really like the compilation of that whole album. And then this comes out, and so now I'm like, so then I was on the bandwagon. I was like, okay, now I'm gonna wait and I'm gonna wait and I'm gonna wait for the next thing to come out. And I just I'm dying for good rap. I don't know why. It's just for me. I think I just haven't seen good rap in a while. I mean, there have been some things, and obviously Cole was great recently and whatever, but I wanted Heavyweight to be good at it, and I haven't heard it since Eminem's last year, and because I really liked that album too. But and this just wasn't that. This was not. This was something else, and it wasn't head bobbing beats and really good like wordplay, and I mean it is good. It's all those things, but like I feel like it got masked by the production and like the sounds and the samples and the and the different things going on. Obviously, like you said, it's high quality music, but I almost think there's almost a little too much going on. Every track has so much involved in it. It's just very involved, and sometimes I think production is where it is today that you can do that stuff, and it's really impressive. But sometimes I think it almost becomes clutter, and you lose the sound, you lose the song itself because there's so much happening. There's samples and there's sound effects and there's voice changes and there's all these kinds of things, and I'm like, okay, well, what is the song? Music is still music for me, and it's still something I want to hear, and I'm a little too overwhelmed. That maybe make me simple, but I feel like he to make me wait that long and then to give me this, I almost felt like you shouldn't have waited so long because you had so much stuff built up. You just dropped it all, and it's a long project. No, what is it, 16 tracks? That's a big project for. That's not, it's usually whatever, it's somewhere between 12 and 14, and it was 16. So, I honestly think he waited too long because he had too much stuff in his arsenal. If he had dropped something along the way, give me a mixtape, give me a something, just to release some stuff, to get some stuff out of your studio, this would have maybe been a little more.
Yeah, he doesn't do that though.
It's like schizophrenic. Like there's a lot of stuff happening at once, and I wish, and it almost. I don't want to say it lacks focus, but it does. It just has a lot to it, and I think that's kind of tough to do to your average hip hop listener. It's just a lot going on.
Yeah, couple things from what you said. I definitely agree about the production. It's just a lot of stimulation, and you're kind of like your head's a little bit spinning in either a good way or not a good way. Like my head was spinning in a good way for a lot of those tracks, especially in the second half of the record. But yeah, it's when you're saying that, sometimes the song you're like lost in it because of all the stuff that's going on. Like, you show up, you like a track at first glance because of like the production, because of the beat, because of the rhythm, tempo, whatever. That's what kind of draws you in. But you stay for the words, and when the words are kind of lost. That's kind of an issue. I feel as if I've been listening to this album now for since it came
2 weeks
out,
now.
yeah, 2 weeks now, and I still can't like quote it as well as I think I should by now because I'm still like, it's kind of like being on the street corner of an active city or something, and just like somebody's honking. There's I don't know, there's like cars bearing by you, there's just like a ton of stuff going on. And that could be good or it could be bad. You said something else I wanted to address too, but this sounds negative, but I really do like the project. Is just not what we're used to. And now I know what I was going to say. For the amount of time that he kind of sat on it, I feel like he was painstakingly like tweaking things left and right, little nondescript things that wouldn't even matter to anybody else except for him, who has his ear trained for it. But it's almost like it's
overdone. Yeah.
Overdone.
Yeah. And I think you take away from the purity of what you do when you do that kind of thing. That it's like you don't trust your own craft and like trust your own skill.
Or you just don't give a fuck. You become insular about
that too. Or it's just like, I want to know. Like, he's putting in a record, like, he's obviously gone on record a ton of times saying, I do stuff for me, I don't do stuff for anybody else, which is obviously fine, and he's not trying to manipulate the game, and you've told me before the times he says he doesn't want to oversaturate it, so I guess that's why you're not putting out mixtapes like people normally would.
Right.
But he just, I mean, I struggle with it. I normally can go through a record once or twice and immediately, like, have the songs that, like, stick out to me that I want to go back and listen to, and I end up cutting it down to like those tracks I just really like. And I had such a hard time doing that because nothing really stood out in the forefront to me. I mean, I guess I should have kind of seen this coming because when I came out, I really didn't like I, and I was like, oh my god, really? I was like, what is this? And obviously, like, I's a fun song and it's easygoing and it's been great. And I guess, and now obviously that you have the entire record, you totally understand that I fits, but that sucks to me because and I is kind of one of the better tracks. So, and I never like that. I don't want the singles to be your best tracks. I want your singles to be your radio tracks, not what's your quality stuff. But the only track that still sticks out to me, and when it did the first time I heard it, was Black the Berry. Black the Berry is awesome. That's what I go to Kendrick for. Like, I go to different artists for different things. We go to Drake for the really smooth, like, you know, the simple lyric, the stuff that gets stuck in your head. That's why you go to Drake. And like, I go to Childish because I like Childish's voice, and I like when he sings his choruses. I like that stuff. Cole has really cool production. That's why I go to Kendrick for like it all, like all that stuff put together, and that's what Kendrick does. And that little Black the Berry is that present to you. But the whole album should have been that to me. It just that one track became that for me. And so I pretty much go to that album to listen to Black the Berry, and that's it.
Yeah, Black the Berry is my favorite one on there, probably. And when Black the Berry came out, I was like, oh, because I was nervous too. Like when I came out, I liked I, but I was like, this can't be the whole vibe of the album. I don't think there's no way. And it became the whole vibe of the album. And when Black the Berry dropped, I was like, okay, thank God. Like this is what there's going to be some, you know, visceral venom to, you know, this project, and he's going to kind of, you know, bare his teeth and show his fangs a little bit and kind of rip into some of these tracks, you know, like he did in Mad City, or even like Backseat Freestyle or whatever, and it's just not there. And I know this was always going to be a slow burn type of a project. I mean, I could probably have a different opinion in a month, because that's just kind of the way this is. This is like a Jedi mind fuckery that he's pulling with this album. But it's.
You're so like you're trying to find a way to explain that you do like it, but you have such a hard time with it. Wait, I know you do. Right, you do. Like I do too. Like I understand that I want to be an intelligent enough music fan that like I know this is good music. Like in the tracks that like people talked about it, like you said, the latter half is better than the front half for whatever reason. I can't explain it. Like everyone like King Kunta, fine, I guess that's the one you kind of bob your head with, and like that melody is one of the only melodies that stays in my head besides Black and the Berry. But I'm not very into that track, and like there's a guy in my office who likes him. He walks around humming it, and I'm like, I just don't like that song. How do you like that song this much? But I mean, the one with Snoop Dogg's are right. I kind of like Hood Politics. I think that's one that I did like.
Yeah. That stands out to me. All Right stands out to me.
Yeah.
What else? How Much a Dollar Cost? That one stands out to me. Those are good.
I like James Fauntleroy. He's good.
Yeah, those are good tracks.
And that's the end. I mean, Hood Politics and How Much a Dollar is right on top of each other. Yeah, These Walls and All Right are pretty good. These Walls is the Snoop song, I think. And I mean, it's just
it's annoying.
It's
you're
just
doing what I'm doing too.
Yeah, it's frustrating.
Yeah. We're searching.
It's just frustrating.
I like
compliments. That's not the way I want to do it. Right.
Yeah. I like the music.
I think it's just an expectation problem. I think he comes with such expectations that he was honestly, it was going to be hard for him to ever succeed in it. And I think he maybe was just like, screw it, I'm going to do what I want, because people have an expectation of it, and I'm just going to create the project that I'm happy with. And he just I want to shake him and just go, but you're so good at what you do. I mean, you do so much well. I don't know. Just give me more music. Like, you're not oversaturating the market, because your stuff is so good and it's so different that you could give me this album, but if you would give me a mixtape that was more rap heavy 6 months ago, I'd have been fine with it. Or a year ago even, I'd been fine with it, because then I get a little bit of both. Like, to go back to my Childish example, just because I follow him so heavily, like, because the internet, I had a similar reaction to this, that I was like, this is kind of weird. Like, obviously Childish is a little bit out there with his, his, like, screenplay and all that shit he did, but, like, there were some tracks that were for everybody, and there were some nice rap tracks, and there were some really good R&B tracks and all that stuff. But then he just came out with this Stone Mountain Kawhi thing, where he did half a mixtape and half like an EP, basically. Like, you got half of it for free and half of it you had to pay for. And one was really a rap album and one was really a hip hop. I mean, one was really a rap album, one was really an R&B song. So it was cool because I got a little bit of both. So I was okay with, if whatever side you liked of him, you got both of it. So it's like, with Kendrick, it's just, he has such a mood that he's just going to apply that, and it just was, I don't know, it just kind of stunk for
Yeah, the
me.
only thing I mean, he'll jump on features, like rarely too, and that's the only time you'll get Kendrick fix before like albums
Right.
and stuff.
Right.
But I think you and I both talked about this, and we read certain things, and now the more I think about it, this is what I feel like when we read that, like the pump fake take by somebody on Grantland.
Yeah.
It feels much more to me, um, like we heard the Control verse. We heard the 2013 BET cipher he did with the rest of Black
Right.
Hippie.
Right.
And just like murdered people and broke
Right.
Twitter again. And we were going into this album. Those were the two lasting impressions of what Kendrick was on at the moment. So we're like, okay, this is gonna be this is gonna be a right hook to the jaw. And when it's like, to use an analogy that only I will give a fuck about. It's like a prize fighter who has like one punch knockout capability, and you're expecting him to go for your head and knock it clean off. He says, "Fuck it, I'm gonna grapple you, take you to the ground,
Yeah.
and
Right.
we're gonna."
It's like he's going to suffocate you with something else.
It's like, yeah, it's like people who watch MMA and they don't understand jujitsu. This is an
Mm.
album full of jujitsu, kind of, to
Yeah.
me. And
Yeah.
you're like, I really appreciate what's going on down there. I can't really tell
Yeah.
what the fuck is happening.
What the scale of it is. Like, I mean,
Right.
obviously this is a little more in your face, but right, like I would love to know like
And I
what the
should say,
fuck he was.
I know what to look for in
Right.
jiu-jitsu. I'm not
Yes,
somebody
sir.
who doesn't know
Yes,
jiu-jitsu,
yes,
but
yes, yes,
for
yes.
a lame,
Right. When I watch a fight with you guys, I get the striking part, but when they're on the ground and they're rolling around and they're trying to get each other in these submissions, I'm like, I don't know what the fuck you're doing until all of a sudden something happens and then it's done. But um,
that's kind of
it's
like
like
what I feel
it's
about
like
um,
right. That's kind of what this is, and it's like I want to know. I'd love to know what the fuck he was recording at the time he did that control verse, because he was doing something. He was in a mood. Where are those tracks? They're somewhere. They're not these tracks. No freaking way could you be recording King Kunta after Control. Like, that's not the same feeling. So, these boppy long songs, and then you have this guy just saying, I'm going to friggin' straight up cut you. And it's like, that was awesome. And that's what, that stuff is he just laid it out there. It wasn't like there was no wordplay. It was straight talking at you and at the people in the game. And it's like, okay, if you're gonna drop that kind of, if you're gonna throw the gauntlet down like that, it's almost like he didn't rise to his own occasion. Like, I mean, he did, but he didn't. But it's just like in a different arena, he said, okay, I'm gonna drop this gauntlet in the rap game, and now I'm gonna take a sidestep, and I'm gonna do this other type of music. And that doesn't work for me, because you did this, you wreak such havoc in rap. Then why are you not doing rap?
I kind of feel as if you might be right, and I kind of feel as if like he was on something in 2013, right around that time, and I feel like maybe he started to make that album, and then like kind of looked back at it and like said, I'm better than this. I don't need to do this.
Well, like he was like too angry, and he was like, I don't want to be this guy. I'm gonna go be some other guy.
Yeah, I'm not saying that's what happened, but I think like that could be a real possibility. Like
It
he
could be,
had
yeah.
a few of these tracks just of straight venom, and he just kind of took a look, sat back, looked at it, and be like, I have a responsibility to myself and like the kids who look up to me, which he's big on. He's big on like his influence in the community, and there's plenty of, he's talked about on press junkets before, like that there's people young kids who've walked up to him and be like, I was going to kill myself last night, but like a song that you wrote like kind of really connected to me, and I figured out how to be okay. And he that's shit he thinks about constantly.
Right.
So I think there was maybe a chance that he was almost embarrassed by like Control and the BET Cypher thing. Maybe not. I mean, I'm just bullshitting.
Right.
I wouldn't be fucking embarrassed, but maybe he looked back at it and like, that's not the vibe I want to, be about, and went towards something like this. But who knows? I mean, I wanted the right hook.
Right. That's entertaining, I think. And he's not in the business of entertaining. He's in the business of creating quality. So, I mean, you got to respect where he comes from, and you got to respect that, like, that's what he cares about. But it's just like, I don't know. And it's like, and he just leaves the door open. Like, I think it's the point of, like, it's funny that he raps about that stuff about being the best in the game, and I think it's almost like he doesn't care about that anymore. Like he thinks that's, I mean, I don't want to sound like he's cocky, but it's almost like that's beneath him. Like I don't need to
Yeah.
act like I'm the greatest there ever was. I'm just gonna go do the music that I want to do and not be like Drake, who raps about having 25 mil and all this kind of shit, and I'm the best there is. Like he's like, that's not why I make my music. I make my music because it's therapeutic for me, and and it's therapeutic for others. And I think that's kind of, so I mean, he's just making, so now he's in this funky place, and he's gonna just run with it.
Weird though. It's like there's people who've done that in the past. Like Nas is kind of like that very much in a sense. Like, but Nas also has a bite to like what he did. I mean,
Right.
you don't make Ether as an attack on Jay-Z,
Mm-hmm.
and you know also and not have a bit of an aggression in there. That's just normal to your craft and what you put out. But it's with Kendrick, it's like he's so laid back at times, or so like nothing bothers me. Like I'm not gonna give a fuck about what people say and whatnot, or
Mm-hmm.
live up to expectations. But you're in an industry and you're in a genre that makes its bones on aggression and
Right.
chest beating and a lot of like not look at me shit, but well yeah, a lot of look at me shit, but something where you got to have a lot of energy and aggression in parts of your record, and there's nothing like that here except for maybe Black and the Berry where he's
Call himself a
scolding
hypocrite,
people,
yeah.
um, which we
I mean,
won't get into, but
I kind of wish. I mean, I'm a big Eminem fan, and I think that. And the thing about Eminem, when he obviously wasn't like really bad on drugs, he made really good comprehensive albums, and I wish like and obviously they're on the same label, that I kind of wish they spoke a little bit more, or that I wish he could take something from Eminem, and that like M doesn't apologize for doing the shit he does,
no.
and but he makes really fucking good stuff. And it's different and it's out there sometimes, and his voices are weird, but like he knows what he is, and when he can put out a rapper, like he can put out Rap God, and he's serious. Like he is the greatest. He is one of the greatest MCs in his wordplay, in his pace, and all that stuff. So it's like Kendrick, like don't like, it's almost like you're squandering your own skill, and that like, or you want to use it somewhere else, and it's like it's just too soon for you to do that for me. You've only put out one LP. I need more before you start, like you were talking about that Grantland article that we're reading, like that guy who said the rule of three. Like I need you to give me three. You need to give me a body of work in one genre before you move to another one. And that's what's frustrating about him, is he doesn't play by anybody's rules but his own, so he
Well,
just doesn't care for that.
yeah, well, the part of the issue is he's been coronated by anybody who knows anything about rap and anybody who's ever done anything in rap. Everybody, people who would never even like, go out of their way to like publicly say something either on Twitter or on a,
Taylor Swift.
you
Taylor Swift loves Kendrick.
know, we're gonna talk about tryhards later with Drake, but so there's it's like everybody just bends over backwards to praise him and what he does, which is great. I mean, he's deserving, but it's almost like not that, and I don't think he drinks the Kool-Aid either. It's just kind of like
No.
it's a green light for him to do whatever he's interested in,
Right.
and there's no
Because he's
pressure.
just like, yeah, I'm just gonna do what I want because everyone's gonna like me regardless. And
And I'm
I
I'm
mean, I
so
get that,
yeah.
but
I'm
it's
interested.
like, ugh,
Go ahead.
why? But why do you have to be like that? Why can't you just give me what I want? Why do you have to then go do what you want? Like, you're still here, I mean, in theory, to serve your fans, and like, you're not giving me what I want. You're just doing what you want, and
Yeah.
that's kind of frustrating.
You know, uh, Listening to this album makes me appreciate another one so much more. Not that I didn't love this already, but um, for guys who are just like very self-aware and love rap and whatnot, and
Mm.
the album that I went back and started to like listen to a little bit again is Oxymoron with Schoolboy,
Yeah.
and, because um, it makes me appreciate what Schoolboy
All right.
did with that record a lot more too, because um, first and foremost, full disclosure, I'm into gangster rap. Like, I want my shit to be like mean and filled with guns and buckshots and a lot of uh, you
Shit.
know stuff like gangster shit, like 50 Cent, Tupac, some of the game stuff, it's got to be full of that anger and angst. And Schoolboy is someone who like understands what he likes. What he likes is rap, and what he likes is gangster rap, and he knows that's his lane. So
Mhm.
he's right there. He's not going to deviate. You're not going to see, King Kunta's not going to come out of, or I is not going to come out of Schoolboy Q. Um, and I think he might drop again before the year is out. He's been making noise like that. And if he does, I think it'll be very interesting. But yeah, with Kendrick, it's kind of like I don't want him to be like thumbing his nose at the rest of the industry or becoming too insular.
Mhm.
Um, and then we have like an Andre 3000 situation where he just decides to just walk away from it.
Yeah.
When Andre 3000 is um, one of the best rappers alive,
Yeah.
and you just totally forget because
Or
he's
you just
made.
never knew, or I mean, you're coming up to a generation of people who don't even know. They
Yeah, they
just don't
don't even
know.
know. They've never even listened to E.T. Aliens or Aquamini and
Yeah.
all that great shit from the Outkast days. But
Mm.
um, what do you think for his next effort? What it has to be, what it's going to be, when it's going to come, even?
Um, I think he's got to strike a balance. I think you can. Yeah, I mean, if this is where we're at now, that you're going to be funky, you can give me funk, but you got to give me more than one track where it's pure rap. Like I need more than that. And I mean, I think the game will change by the time the next thing comes out. Obviously, the game's always changing, but and there are new faces coming up. Like obviously, you really like Run the Jewels, hence this. And I honestly, I still haven't listened to that whole album start to finish, but I feel like I have to now because everyone talks about how great of an album that was.
It's
So, right.
marvelous.
And so it's like, so there are names that no one's ever heard of that are showing up and making noise that people don't. But it's not, they're not making enough noise because the powerhouses are still powerhouses. I mean, Kanye's gonna drop an album this year and everyone's gonna go bananas again. So, for what? I mean, what was Jesus really? So it's like, uh, I think I think he goes back into his cave now, and he'll produce for everybody else. He'll do some random features. They'll be good. He'll make songs that are good songs, great songs, and I mean he elevates everybody. So I mean I appreciate the skill and the fact that he exists. He really elevates everybody who he works with, which is the greatest compliment probably there is. And but I don't. I mean, it's going to be at least 2 years probably before we see it. I don't expect to see anything soon. I don't. I mean, and that's frustrating. I would love for him to put out a mixtape. Like mixtapes are so like obviously like this will kind of segue into when we talk about Drake, but like mixtapes are great because they're not they're just they're just like little rewards. They're just like thanks for always following me. Now here's a bunch of stuff I've been working on. They're not full complete thoughts, but they're cool tracks. They're different. They kind of or they can be really all the same sound or they can be very different sounds, but they're just it stokes the fire, and I think sometimes Kendrick runs the risk of not stoking his own fire because or his own stuff. Like we hear him enough with other people's things, but like I want your own stuff. It's a totally different feel to be featured versus being the feature of the track.
Yeah, which Drake does a terrific job at, and we'll get into it
Right.
in a minute. But um, yeah, what I think could be a real thing. The next time we see him in an official capacity, he might be doing a joint project with somebody else. Like he could end up doing like the J. Cole project,
Imagine.
which would be great.
Oh,
Because they've always talked about doing that, and maybe that's something he does next, as
yeah.
a kind of way to. I don't know if he thinks he needs to transition, but like in my eyes, like as a way to transition back to what he was doing
Mm.
before, that would be a good way to do it. Is because he could still do like this sort of shit with Cole because they both admire each other and they're big into this kind of stuff. I think Kendrick goes a little further with it than J. Cole does, but
Mm.
um,
But they both respect where they are, who they are in the game, and what impact they can create, and they like that idea. They like the social like ramifications of what they say. So I think
Mhm.
that's what I mean. And we didn't talk about this, but obviously like we said this offline that like the social climate of where black culture is,
Yeah,
I think really maybe that's what he did. Maybe he was just like shit, I got to do this because this is important.
very true. Yeah, he could have
And
taken a
maybe
look.
he just and so then so which gives me a little bit of hope that we won't wait so long because he might say okay, now here's what I was gonna do, but I couldn't because of what the climate was.
Yeah, that's very true too. That could be the reason, one of the reasons in my hypothesis that he had a body of work laid out in front of him. It was just like, this doesn't feel right, and just went in a different direction. It could be very much influenced on the, social unrest and turmoil that's been going on in Black culture in America. So maybe he was just kind of like, I need to put out something more positive with, roots to back to when, funk music was a real staple and glue of the African American community and culture. So maybe he's just kind of like really strongly harken back to that and kind of create this
Because that's
sense of
kind of what Cole
positivity.
did. That's kind of what Cole did because he created this album about his childhood. Um, I just hilarious that it nods to the year that he had 2014 Forest Hill Drive was just where he lived, but just the coincidence of that was funny. But I think, and that's what he did. He wrote this kind of the beginning of that was kind of his childhood, and then he talks about, you have those. I think that latter half of that track and that record is really strong, and he talks about all those things and
That
talks about
felt
the
like
game
Drinking
and
That City to me.
yeah, it did. And I think, but in the same time, but it was also nodding at what was going on in the culture and trying to be thoughtful about it. So maybe they even talked about it themselves. That maybe because that was quick for a Cole. That was like
Yeah,
under 18 months or 18 months between albums. So that's pretty quick. So maybe they thought about it and were just like, no, this is important, and so
yeah,
they did.
yeah. And I also say that um, it could either be, yeah, it could be a J. Cole joint effort. It could also be a Black Hippie effort.
Yeah.
Like that would be cool too. Um, but who knows? He'll probably come out with something all his own in his next official appearance. But I wouldn't rule
Yeah.
opportunities out. Another thing I just want to touch on before we move off to Drake, and we should, but um, uh, uh, the Tupac thing, right? So I love Tupac. Tupac's my favorite rapper ever,
Mm.
and um, just for many, many different reasons that we won't get into. But he's also um, Kendrick's like mentor in a sense. Like he worships this individual,
Yeah.
obviously, because at the last Mortal Man track, he fake interviews Pac and old bits of footage that came out of some randomness in Sweden or something, I believe.
Mm.
And so he looks at this guy as the gold standard, and he is the gold standard in my eyes of the message, lyrics, responsibility to your community and the industry, and all that sort of thing. Um, I think it's very interesting that he is looks he looks up so much to Tupac, but he won't rap in his style. Like
Right.
Tupac, I love Tupac because when he delivers his lyrics and his songs, it's from a guttural pit in his stomach. Like reaches down and
Mm.
gives you like everything he has. Like it's like he's bearing his soul, not in like this artistically whatever sort of way, which of course it's part of that, but in this like cathartic, uh, just full of angst and aggression, and it's why a lot of people like it and will flock to it. But and Kendrick does this too. Kendrick does this in Control. Kendrick did this in different other uh, songs and different in projects in the past. But it's like he only wants to do the follow in the Tupac's message footsteps, which is great.
Mm.
But I wish he would do kind of adhere to it a little bit more. Now, Tupac's own trajectory changed dramatically with the when he got shot in New York and the Biggie stuff started to happen. And then he was just like out for blood at that point. He just basically became a totally different artist.
Mm.
And I'm wondering if like Kendrick needs like a kick, not like something like as severe as that,
Yeah.
but a kick in the ass to kind of go back to being what we wanted or what we kind of expected from this
Well,
album.
yeah,
But
what his trajectory was before he came out. He went off his own trajectory for whatever reason.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I I think he'll come out with his own effort probably next, but I wouldn't be surprised if he jumps into like starting to make a project with somebody else as a good
mm,
transition into
segue.
his
Yeah.
next solo. Um, but all right, we can get off that because we've spent a lot of time on that. So we can go over to if you're reading this, it's too late. Drake just drops that out of nowhere.
Uh,
Supposedly, maybe just to give Young Money another album effort. In terms of
in lieu of Wayne's. Excuse me. Yeah, in lieu of Wayne. That I mean,
yeah,
though. Oh my God, $18. $18 for that thing is a rip.
yeah. No,
Um,
I didn't even buy it,
it's not.
obviously.
No, I didn't buy it either. But uh, I listened to it the first time and didn't like it, and I was like, God, come on, Drake! Like this is the same song over and over again. And then we talked about this. We talked about doing this pod, so I was like, I don't know. I should probably go back and listen to Drake too because it's gonna be just to create the contrast. And I was like, wait, I kind of like this better than I thought I did. Which can happen sometimes with Drake for me. I think um, what's the last album called? I'm having Nothing Was the Same. I had a little bit like that, but it didn't take so long for me to have a good turnaround with it. I think the first listen through, I had to adjust the fact that this wasn't going to be what I thought it was, but then I liked it. Like versus with Kendrick, the first listen through, I was like, oh, this isn't what I thought it was. It wasn't improving. It when Nothing Was the Same with Drake last year, it improved, so I was okay with it. And that's kind of the same thing what happened to me here with Too Late is that it improved as I listened to it. It gets a little bit lazy at the end, so I just obviously it's a mixtape, so it kind of falls off, and like you said that like the thoughts are a little bit all over the place, but it's still good. It's still catchy. It's still he's talking about someone who knows his lane. He knows his fucking lane. He knows exactly what he needs to do and exactly how he needs to say it, and people will go bananas for it. So I
Yeah.
mean, he knows what he's got. He has this game. He has the game in his palm, and he can't break the internet the way that Kendrick can. I'll give him that. Like he can't say something and affect the way that Kendrick can do that. But Drake can make people go bananas for his stuff. They just want his stuff, and he'll just give you stuff back.
Yeah. I got a lot of thoughts on Drake. First of all, I like Drake. Went to that Nothing Was the Same show,
Yeah.
which was great. This album, I was uh, pretty adamant about just not being very impressed, which we talked about. Everything sounded very similar. Everything sounded very, you know, kind of simple, and which isn't bad, but nothing. You kind of, I thought like with an album, if you're gonna drop an album, charge $18 for it. I thought like the production was gonna be a little bit more advanced, or the thought process behind it would be a little bit more. But this looks like he's just like dropping shit and be like, look at all this stuff I have, and you
Hmm.
guys can have it because I know you're gonna eat it up. Um, uh, like I was saying to you before, I've gone back to it a little bit more and more lately because you can't escape his work. It's out of control. Like his stuff is everywhere. It's bumping through everybody's car. It's bumping through everybody's 15-second clips on Instagram or whatever. It's everywhere, and everybody's quoting it. Everybody's picking up new sayings and words from him and all the time, which is part of what makes him great. Uh, but like the standouts in my mind are Energy, Legend, and Know Yourself. Um, but even like some of those some of those songs, like those three songs, like it's kind of like if you did a once over in the studio like one more time or something on it, like they could have been better. It's kind of like it's like you write a first draft, and this draft is great because he's great at what he does, but he didn't like go back and revise. He's just like, that's it, take it, and pay me money. So uh,
Right. Yeah, I like 10 bands too in that like first little bit. Um,
I
his
like
pro-
to. It's just
I like the beat. I go for Drake for the beat a lot because I like to kind of it's very rhythmic. It's very like the
yeah.
tempo
Did I lose you?
they're
Yeah.
always good.
Say that
Um,
again.
but or
Cut
like
out.
I love the Yeah, we're cutting out a little bit. I said I like Used to too. His tracks with Wayne are always good. So, um, I think
You're cutting out a little bit again. Are you there?
he just he just knows what he's doing. He has a very his hand is on the pulse of what's going on, and he can, and I mean, and you know, he has all these people coming off like in the way that Kendrick has Schoolboy and all the people kind of coming off him. Like this is how you know you okay. He has all these artists coming off of him. He has The Weeknd. He has Party Next Door. He has P Rain. He's got the guy who sings Tuesday,
Oh,
whatever his name is. Like he has all these artists coming off of him that are so good that not only is he creating good music for us, but he's creating good art. More, he's creating good artists for people.
Drake is an anomaly for many reasons. There's no denying his success. I mean, he's tied with like the fucking Beatles now for like the most Billboard number ones or the most weeks at number one. It's some crazy. That's nuts. You don't touch the Beatles without, having a unfathomable type of following and whatnot.
Right.
I think he's very marketable. Um, he's easy to get behind, I think, for a lot of people. Um, guys can vibe to it, and girls can vibe to it easy. And I don't know, like, I feel like it's funny that one of his tracks is "Know Yourself," because from where I'm sitting, that dude don't know himself. He's all over the place, and he's very in your face about I'm the best and whatever, which a lot of rappers are. But we can get to my personal feelings on Drake. Like I said, like his music, went to his concert. I'm not about to be like he sucks and is a tryhard, but times I feel like he's a bit of a tryhard. Like when you're rapping about you've got guys who can't leave Canada, stop. Oh,
Mm,
I don't want to hear about your friends who can't leave Canada. Like what, they can't leave
yeah.
Ontario because they have like papers or whatever, or like that's silly to me. Like you're
Well,
above that.
he's kind of a tool. He can be good at what he does and still be kind of a tool. Like I
I
think
feel like
that's just kind of what he is. He's just kind of
he's
a
kind of
tool.
yeah, I
And
feel like he's kind of a douche.
so yeah,
I
but
mean, his shit is
like
great, it's
the
bomb, but
world the world has those. I mean, sometimes the tool bags are good at what they do, and that's just you want to shake your fist at them, but that's what they are, and he's just kind of a tool. But damn it, he makes good music, and damn it, he has a good eye for talent. And um, I mean, think about it. It's 2015. He's been doing this for almost 8 years. I mean, like Best I Ever Had came out in 2008.
mm, yeah, his anthology is undeniable. Um, I just I don't know. It bothers me that I like Drake. I'll be honest. It bothers me that I like his music. It bothers me that you know because I feel like he's so not like what he tries to be at times, like hard or somebody who's come up through like a ton of adversity or like hangs out in the hood, is from the hood, and all that sort of shit, which I think bothers other people, and that's why he doesn't have many friends in
Mm,
the industry in the game. Like Ludacris is mad at him, and then P Diddy is mad at him, and like all these people who are mainstay like staples of and have been around forever. Like when there's smoke from a lot of different people, there's definitely fire. And I don't know what it is about him, but but, but like when he like weirdly tries to like trend set too, like consciously trend
oh
set,
yeah,
which bothers me a little bit.
right.
Like the fact that like woes is a thing now boggles my mind. Like I don't know if you saw me tweet this, but um in Know Yourself, when he's at the latter half of Know Yourself, I think is better than the first half when he like kicks it up a little bit and he's like actually saying that I was running through the streets with my like louder and whatever. I think that was part of my process of thinking like if you went back and looked at that track and just did it again, you would realize, oh, the latter half is way better. I'm going to make it the whole thing and do it all in that style. But that's a digression. like trying to make like woes, which is I guess like New Orleans slang or something, into like a real thing, and now like everybody just picks it up and runs with it. Well, I don't really get why, because woes sounds way too close to hoes for grown men to be, calling their friends that. But uh, I just don't like the way he's consciously trying to be like, I'm a trendsetter, I'm cool, and it feels like a try hard thing to me. I hate try hard shit. It just bothers me always. And when you're better than that, you're you know you're you're tying the Beatles. Like you don't need to be trying this hard to be cool. Um, but I don't know. It bothers me that I like Drake's music, but I do. And you can't not. So, are you there? You froze up. Hold on. You need to, if you hear this, just start talking so the camera can pan to you. But um, you went all the way frozen. Um, so I don't know. The
Hold
Drake
on.
stuff is good. Oh, there you are, finally.
Hold on.
What happened?
No, my
What happened there?
you were just like you were just I was hearing things were happening, but I wasn't hearing what you were saying.
I don't know what happened with the connection. Um,
Yeah.
anyway, I like the effort. Views from the six better be better. Um, but
It will
yeah,
be though. That's the whole
it's
thing, you know it
interesting
will
that
be.
yeah, well, yeah, it will be. But his ability to make hits is fucking nuts.
It's
It's
amazing.
crazy. It's crazy the way like he can
Yeah.
just figure out a way that's just gonna bump on the radio for months and months and months.
I mean,
That's
Zero
a
to
gift.
100 was probably the best rap song of the year, and that was a random release.
What was?
That was just
What
Zero
track?
to 100 was the
Zero.
best song of the year.
Yeah,
Zero to 100.
yeah,
No, it was amazing. But, you know, I talk about being the pickup lyrics. I know all the words to all those songs that are all hits.
yeah. Because they
It's
bite. So
oh,
they get a lot of play. Everybody loves it. Everybody's quoting it. Everybody's tweeting it. Um, yeah, I don't know. It just seems like he's great. It's undeniable, but it just bothers me the way that
yeah,
I can't just be like, oh fuck that guy. He's kind of a loser. But you
yeah,
can't say that. So,
right.
which is I don't know. I think it's fascinating that there's a lot of people in the industry that don't like him. Between Tiger and Chris Brown and Diddy and Luda, like I just mentioned, and
I feel like he's
there's
kind
always
of a
been
dweeb.
talk.
He's kind of a dweeb. I think he
Yeah,
doesn't. He's like a really bad. He doesn't play by their rules. He does it differently. He's not. He's kind of a. Not I don't want to call him a pretty boy. He's not even that. He's just kind of like he's a little bit flamboyant. He's not like he's not. He doesn't do it the same way everyone else does it, and that bugs the shit out of people. And it's
he
fine. I
also
get that.
does he also does like the sing-songy R&B
Yeah.
like cheat almost, and I think
Oh yeah.
the other guys in the game they think of that as a cheat, and like
Yeah.
sing
Like it's a
on track.
shortcut. Like it's just
Yeah,
a.
just because he can sing, he will, and it's which he should. If it's a part of his,
Oh,
tools in
absolutely.
the arsenal, he should, and it's great. But I think other people in the industry like really resent that. Um,
Hmm.
but I don't know. You got anything else on Drake before we just start spitballing here with just shit we're interested in lately?
Nah. I think we should probably wrap. I think we should wrap now
I'm losing you. Say it again.
because you're cutting out again.
Say it again.
Yeah, you're. I said I think maybe we should wrap it because I'm worried we're pushing our luck with the connection.
Um, okay, well, I'm just gonna give you like a couple
Can you hear me?
things that.
Ah,
Yeah, can you hear me? How about now?
ah,
How
this
about
is
now? This is brutal. I don't know what the hell is. Google Hangouts is gonna get fired. They're gonna get fired for production value of this, and I had a couple other problems earlier too with some of the
so
other.
now you're pulled back together, but it's weird.
I'm saying Google Hangouts is on the chopping block. Um,
Mm,
anyway, some of the
right.
I'll give you some of the stuff I've been um, playing a lot. So, fan of a fan. I don't know if you've delved into that Chris Brown and Tiger collab album,
Mm,
but it's great.
is it?
It's awesome. Yeah, it's
Mm,
awesome. Like, I don't know why that's not getting as much play, but there's like five like heaters in there, and between like Ayo, Bitches of Marijuana, It's Yo Shit, um, what else? What else? Ready something with Boosie. Um, there's plenty of real good quality. Like this is mainstream, fun, good shit. And I like those two guys, and I especially like them together ever since they did like Deuces and whatnot. So
mm,
um, they're great. I like that a lot. I really like what's going on. First of all, Fabulous is one of my favorites.
mm,
Um, and he gets overlooked for whatever reason, but his wordplay and lyricism is terrific.
yeah.
And like it's not like it's not poetic in certain sense, but in terms of wordplay and lyrics, but his stuff is just clever.
Mm,
And always used to think about that with Ludacris as well. His shit is always just clever.
mm.
And Fabulous has lately been just releasing freestyles over old school like 90s beats.
That's
And
awesome.
he just did like uh, he just went over like the BAS track of Dr. Dre and Shook
Mm,
Ones. He just dropped that the other day, and like real cool solid shit, all out of the vein of like DJ Clue production when they
mm,
used to do that in the mid 2000s. They just all these cool talented popular rappers would just walk over awesome beats that were just around. So that's really cool. I like that. And hottest take of the day comes to no surprises. I'm in love with that new Rihanna song. I don't know if you've happened to heard it now yet, but I hope you've heard "Bitch Better Have My Money" by now.
yes.
Okay.
Yes.
You don't seem that
Um.
enthused by it, but
Well, you're also you're. I'm just catching up to you, so that's half the problem. But yeah, no. Um, I'm gonna show mine for a second. I haven't listened to the whole thing, but everyone's going nuts over Action's album,
action.
so I
Yeah.
kind of want to listen to that. I fucking love Chance, and I need something from Chance. Like next to Kendrick, I need something from Chance. And I haven't Chance hasn't put out anything since um his what's the name of that mixtape? I forget. Oh, Acid Raps. 2 years ago, almost now. 2 years in May. So
It was
I
two
need
years
something
ago.
else. Chance.
Fuck.
Acid Raps was 2 years ago.
Well,
So I need something there. So I think I was promised a childish Chance collab album, which it would be that would make my life. So I need that, but I don't know when that'll come. They just promise those things, so you never see them. But yeah, I want to hear Action. I like Action's that song with Chance is really good. Um, I'd love to hear something from Mac Miller soon. I don't
mm,
know. I used to really like him. I don't know what happened. Maybe too much weed. I don't know. But obviously I liked Cole's album. I have to go back and listen to Run the Jewels. But my big ones for this year, I want to hear Chance, and I would like to hear from Mac Miller. I guess those are my stupid frat rat B roots that I have as a chick. But um, yeah, I don't
um,
know.
yeah, that's fair. Yeah, I've heard a lot of good stuff about action. Um, I heard it's kind of it goes off a little bit though. Don't be
Yeah,
surprised if you're like kind of weirded out by some of the stuff that goes on. Um,
yeah. Well,
because
he's a kind of a strange dude, but
I heard him say that on the Breakfast Club with the Alchemist there with him, and
mm,
um, so I think there's some unconventional stuff in there. Yeah, but you should definitely go back to Run the Jewels because Run the Jewels 2 is awesome. Run the Jewels 1 is great too, but the second one I think is something that stands out more in my mind. Um, but yeah. So I don't know what's looming, was on the horizon, but
Kendrick. I mean, Kanye's what's on the horizon, but
yeah, I'm not. I
I just
usually don't get
don't
that
trust.
excited for that until it's proven to be worse. I mean, I like All Day. Um,
I don't really like
I,
it.
I-
It's
it's
fine, but it's
it's not like
nothing.
yeah, it's fine. It's not. I don't not like it. So if I
Okay.
and I'm quicker to say I don't like something of Kanye's than I am to say I like something.
Yeah.
Um,
Like Back Skinheads was awesome. That was not.
yeah. Um, also really like Blessed from the Big Sean effort.
Didn't like the Big
Um,
Sean effort. I listened to the whole thing. It's fine, but
I didn't listen to the whole thing.
it's and I like One Man Can Change the World with Legend and Kanye. That was pretty good too. But um, I listened to it a couple times. It's fine. I liked Big Sean earlier days than that. I don't know, but he was also I think he was transitioning out of that label at that point. I don't know. It's kind of a weird album. Um, that was another short turnaround. That was like 15 months. So
Yeah, because Hall of Fame to like
Hall of
drop.
Fame was like September of 14, and this was January of 15.
Yeah, because Hall of Fame like flopped.
Yeah, I liked Hall of Fame though. It
Mm.
was a little bit. It was a little bit too like. It was a little bit too caught up in itself and being like catchy. It wasn't really. He wasn't. He wasn't talking about a lot of quality shit. They were catchy tracks, but he wasn't talking about anything serious
Hmm.
besides like bitching about losing his girlfriend. With Big L, we need Big L, man. Where's Big
I was
L,
about to
man?
say it. I was about to say it. I was gonna say the stuff I want next, like now that Kendrick is over and done with, um, is Miguel. Need that yesterday. He's now been on a longer layoff than Kendrick because he dropped
Yeah,
at the same time as Good Kid, Mad City,
yeah.
and we don't have Miguel's album yet, so I'm not sure what he's doing, but needed that a long time ago, and so I'm really looking forward to that. Uh, I'm also like these are the I guess the only things I'm really looking to pay attention to are Miguel, um, SZA.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I don't and I've been trying to beat that drum to you for a while, but
Mm-hmm.
for my money, SZA's album is could be the best out of the TDE rollout of projects for 2014, 2015. I guess
Mm-hmm.
since we're finishing with Kendrick, if not just continuing into. Um, so I want to hear more from her. And then I can't really think of anything else because we just got Cole, we just got Kendrick. Um, but yeah, so who knows? More shit on the
Mm-hmm.
horizon. But anyway, we're
Need
gonna
stronger performances in the rap game. Just need it.
yeah, yeah. I don't know where we're gonna get it from either, but
Mm.
uh,
We need fresh blood. I think we're lacking on the fresh blood, or we need the people who were made big, like guys like Chance, someone who made a nice big splash and now needs to come back and make another one. And
yeah,
it's just been a while since he's made another one.
I would like a bit of new blood.
Mm.
Um, and it's not gonna be from these assholes like OT Genesis and
No,
Coco nonsense
no, like
or
Migos or
or
anything like
Trap
that.
Queen. Get out
Yeah,
of here with Trap Queen.
yeah,
I hate
no,
that joint. I don't want to hear that
bad, bad,
ever.
bad.
Um, Migos is actually funny to me. I will
Migos
listen
is
to
great, but it's
yeah.
not. And I like Kid Ink. I like Kid Ink a lot. I liked Kid Ink before he is who he is today, but he's not. He's not enough to. He's too
I
much like everybody else.
I thought Kid Ink maybe had something, but I'm not sure if he'll ever like ascend to the
Mm-mm,
level that we are
mm-mm.
kind of looking for. But yeah,
His mixtapes are awesome, and these featured albums are. I mean, yeah, he's a little bit. I mean, he got too like the fact that because the record that made him take off was with Chris Brown. It was a little too much like that stupid like, it's just a mustard beat, and mustard's great, but it's not gonna. Those are a different. Those are designed to make money. They're not designed to like impact your life.
yeah, it's party music and shit. So
Yeah,
um, yeah, I don't know. Maybe somebody will surprise us.
maybe.
Uh, I would have thought I was kind of thinking about buying stock in Joey Badass, but I don't know what the hell he's doing.
Not happened to him either. Yeah.
Yeah. And then I would have put money down on ASAP, but he's all over the
Yeah.
place kind of, and
It,
he takes too much time off too. Like,
yeah.
I don't know.
That was January of 13.
Yeah.
Like, what a joint fucking Brahms was, and like, you need that back. You don't have anything like that in your life.
Yeah. I liked his other stuff even better too. Like,
Yeah, I love Fashion Killer. That's my favorite song on that record.
no, I'm talking about even before that shit. Like,
Oh, his like
uh,
before.
Hands on the Wheel with Schoolboy and
Yeah,
Brand New Guy,
and Goldie and stuff like that.
Peso,
Yeah.
Goldie. Yep. And there's
Um,
a lot of cool shit.
PMW too.
Yeah. Um, a lot of good. I don't know. Hopefully, I feel like I've
It's
been
like
let down.
it's like right. I feel like 3 years. All of a sudden now it's like not what it was.
Yeah.
Like I don't know. I mean, and supposedly Macklemore is supposed to show up at some point probably this year. So I mean, in theory, I feel like we're obligated to talk about them, but
Yeah.
I like the album fine, but it definitely didn't need to be quadruple platinum or the fuck it was.
Yeah, that's nuts. Who was buying that so many times over? It
I
doesn't make
don't
sense to me.
know. A lot of white people. A lot of white people.
Fuck white people. Um,
Yeah.
anyway,
Yeah,
um,
or awesome people. Anyways, yeah, let's cut it. I gotta
let's
run.
yeah, let's cut it before this dies on us. Anyway, this was Run the Jewels, a kind of a rocky go of it with Google Hangout just not cooperating that much. Apologize for that. I'm gonna look into sharpening the production game here, but as I do not get paid for this and I don't even advertise it, I don't have much resources to improve it, so we're just gonna learn as we go. But anyway, for M, my name, as always, is Pat Julian. This has been Run the Jewels. Go listen to Run the Jewels because LP and Killer Mike are dope, and they're not getting enough attention, even though they've been around for a minute. They've been around for a while, especially Killer Mike. But this is Run the Jewels, and we'll see you maybe tomorrow. All right,
Maybe.
see ya.
Thanks.